Today we have some breaking news out of OpenAI. This is actually something that has been going around for the last day or so, but essentially OpenAI has released a demo of a very interesting capability, and they have announced that ChatGPT is now being updated to be able to see, hear, and speak. This is absolutely crazy. If you listened to my podcast yesterday about Spotify, this was a piece of the equation, right? Essentially, they said that they're collaborating with Spotify to be able to translate podcasts into other languages. So like Lex Friedman, for example, is one of the first ones, and they're going to take his literal voice, clone it, but have him speaking in Spanish, right? So it's not just like, dubbing with a Spanish voice. It's literally Lex Friedman speaking in Spanish. All of this is due to capabilities that OpenAI has developed with their platform Whisper, but they have a ton of other features in here, including talking about hearing and speaking and seeing. So we're going to dive into all of that on the podcast today. Welcome to the world's #1 AI podcast, AI Chat. I'm your host, Jaden Schaefer. Make sure that you go to aibox.ai, link in the show notes, to join the waitlist for our new AI platform. We're going to be launching an incredible platform that allows you to build anything you want with workflows in AI. So you're able to chain together ChatGPT and image generators and audio generators to make really powerful apps for your organization, or you can host them on our marketplace and actually generate royalties from them. So make sure to go to aibox.ai and join the waitlist. In addition, if you like the podcast, if you could do me a massive favor and please leave us a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. This helps me be able to get better guests on here as they check the reviews to see how you guys are liking it. So if you could please do that, I would really, really appreciate it. Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast? I record and publish podcasts on a platform called Spotify for Podcasters, and I absolutely love it. Essentially, you can upload from your phone or computer, and it distributes to every platform that plays podcasts. They support video podcasts, and you can make money on the platform with ads or even podcast subscriptions, something that has made my life so much easier as a podcaster. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you give it a try. You can download the Spotify for Podcast app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your podcast today. So the big news here, there was recently a demo released. A lot of people are talking about it. And in the demo, essentially someone takes a picture of their bicycle, uploads it to ChatGPT on their phone on the mobile app. I believe this is iOS. I tried to download this on Android. I'm not seeing it. Anyways, they took a picture of their bicycle on ChatGPT. They were able to upload it. And as soon as it was uploaded, they were then able to add the message saying, help me lower my seat, my bike seat, right? And so immediately after sending this, ChatGPT is able to come up with a response that says, to lower your bike seat, locate the release lever. If it's a quick release lever, do this, tighten the quick release. Anyways, it walks through the steps of doing it. It says, if you have further tools, show me and I'll guide you through. So then the person goes, they take a picture of where the kind of release thing on the seat is. They circle it on their phone. So they're actually like drawing attention to the specific part they're talking about. And they say, is this the lever? ChatGPT says, no, that's not the lever. It's a bolt. You'll need an Allen wrench to loosen it. And then it, asks about what tools they have. So they go and take a picture of a tool set they have. And they also take a picture of, I believe, the user's or the owner's manual for the bicycle. And they say, here's the manual and here's my toolbox. Do I have the right tools? And this is like so fascinating because it's using this like computer vision at the same time. It says, yes, you have the right tools on the left section of your toolbox. There's a set labeled DeWalt. Within this set, find the 9mm Allen head. So it's literally like looking at the picture and it's like talking you through, like on the right side of your toolbox on that little thing with this label on it, like it's telling you what specifically to go and find, go and do. Really, really cool feature here. So of course, this is the ability that ChatGPT now has to see. This is kind of something that was rumored and talked about back when GPT-4 launched, but it never actually happened at the beginning of the year. Until now, it looks like they're finally rolling this in. It's kind of interesting. I recently saw a tweet on Twitter where someone was saying like, they're like, OpenAI is a big conference planned for November, but like, what the heck is there left for them to announce? Like AGI? Because after this announcement, like, honestly, this is some massive capabilities, right? So now you can take pictures, upload it to ChatGPT, and ask it about the picture. So it's literally able to see. In addition, like I mentioned in the intro, there's the huge news of Spotify being able to, do voices. So, they're partnering with OpenAI to do voices. So they're going to translate podcast voices into different languages. So essentially clone a voice and translate it. I've also seen demos with ChatGPT where you're able essentially to talk to it. So send an audio file where you are talking, you say, hey, ChatGPT, tell my kids a bedtime story about a hedgehog that lives on the top of a mountain. And ChatGPT was able to say, sure, here's a bedtime story, and like talk back to you. So ChatGPT can talk back to you. You can talk to ChatGPT. You can take pictures, send it to ChatGPT, ask it for context or information about the pictures that you're seeing. It can see, it can hear. And most recently, of course, with the huge announcement that they're going to start integrating the brand new version of DALL-E 3 in there. So it's also able to generate really interesting pictures. I saw some interesting demos where essentially they were talking to ChatGPT and saying like, hey, tell my kids a bedtime story about a hedgehog. It tells them a story about the hedgehog, right? Using the voice feature. But then they're like, okay, cool. My kids really want to know what the hedgehog looks like. Can you show us a picture of what this hedgehog would look like if it was on top of a mountain in like a forest? And so it like generates the picture and it's like, okay, cool. My kids are about to go to bed. Like, can you generate a picture of this hedgehog like as it's going to bed? It does that. Same hedgehog. And this is another thing that I think is really interesting with like something like Midjourney. You can try to use the same prompt to get a very like similar type of character. So for example, I've spoken with a number of people that have made like children's illustrated books, and they have like keywords they put in there to try to get the same characters in the books. That's one of the hard things, is to make it really cohesive. But they say things like, like illustrated in like X, Y, and Z style. And they know that if they say like girl with black hair in this style, it tends to come up with a very similar looking girl. And so they were able to make a bunch of kids' books doing this, but they're not like perfect. And so it's not exactly the same person. It was like, okay, right? But I think what's really incredible here that ChatGPT is going to have the capability of doing is because you can upload pictures and ask it questions about that. You can say, generate me the picture of this hedgehog or this character in a book or this person or this thing. It generates it, and you say, okay, now generate that same thing, but in this scene, in this place, doing this thing or that. And all of a sudden, ChatGPT, because of the way it's integrated with natural language processing, and it has this computer vision element where you're able to upload and talk, it's able to do some really powerful effects where it's like essentially manipulating the same characters or the same images to give you, different variations of that, which are going to be really powerful. So many incredible use cases are coming out with this. It's all over Twitter. People are talking about some really impressive use cases, but honestly, recently we even had Lex Friedman talking about, he's one of the first people that are going to be on this whole Spotify thing. And he recently said, he posted a clip of literally him speaking in English on his podcast, and it translated into Spanish. He said, "This is me speaking Spanish thanks to amazing work by Spotify AI engineers. The translation and voice cloning are done by AI. Languages can create barriers of understanding and thus fuel division. I can't wait for AI to break down this barrier and reveal our common humanity. Great job, Spotify. I'm excited for what the future holds. Check out the full episode of me speaking in Spanish." So, he's trying to promote his podcast, which by all means, that's awesome. But, just that on LinkedIn had almost 10,000 people that have liked it in the last 21 hours. So really, really powerful technology. I think this kind of just goes to show like this is something people definitely want. Even for myself, I've been invited on a number of podcasts where they're like, hey, I'd love to have you on this podcast. We talk about AI, but it's in like, we're based in Sweden. And like, that's pretty much our audience. And so like for me, it's just like not super viable. Obviously, I don't speak anything other than English and French, so I'm kind of limited to those two lanes. But I think this is incredible, being able to translate into all these different languages and clone your own voice. Absolutely incredible. I see, if this is really what OpenAI is building in, you can see all of the different incredible use cases that are going to happen. You're essentially going to be able to go travel to a new place and, talk into your phone, and it's going to in real time translate for people. So that, or even maybe you wear a pair of AirPods with your phone that is listening. So when people talk to you in another language, it immediately translates into English. You speak into your phone, and then it's going to, in your same voice, speak to them in French or Spanish or German or wherever you're visiting, and give them that, you're going to be able to communicate so much easier. There's going to be some incredible applications built on top of this technology. And of course, on top of the technology, that we're able to see things all around us. So, imagine traveling, you're in another country, you take a picture of a street and you're like, hey, I'm looking for, like, you don't know what any of the shops are, but it's like, based on all the street signs, which one of these is like a shoe store or something, right? I don't know. It sounds funny, but there's going to be so many incredible use cases. I think this is going to just further integrate AI into things. And honestly, I think right now, this is OpenAI's kind of secret to getting ahead, because they're building APIs with all of this stuff. And so if you think about it, right now we have like Anthropic that just raised $4 billion or has the ability to raise up to $4 billion from Amazon and AWS. They're still just trying to compete on ChatGPT alone and just that tool. But as ChatGPT now is starting to integrate this image generation and this speech and this audio and all sorts of other things, and of course, I find it hard to believe that video is very far away. I think, a lot of their competitors are going to have to fight really hard to still be relevant, because I think once people get all of these new features from ChatGPT, it's going to be really hard to convince yourself to go and pay for something like Anthropic if it doesn't have those abilities to have, hearing, seeing, speaking, and everything else integrated. It's going to become incredibly convenient. And I think this may kind of push it to the mainstream beyond just people using ChatGPT to, generate articles or responses in text for them. But all of a sudden, it may be just an app everyone has to have premium, and you use it all the time. It's like your travel companion. You can't live without it. I see it going more in that direction with some of these new features. So very exciting. Definitely something we'll continue to follow, and a lot of amazing advancements to come.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. That's the sound of switching your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling. Harness the best converting checkout and same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Stop leaving sales on the table. Discover why millions trust Shopify to build, grow, and run their business. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech23.
Thank you for listening to the AI Chat Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, I'd appreciate it if you rate me wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're looking for an innovative group of AI enthusiasts, make sure you check out our Discord channel and also our Facebook community. It's obviously a lot more interactive than a podcast, where we can actually share software tools, prompts that we're using in everyday AI. I'll leave a link for those in the description below.